Good afternoon. Now the third Bardo, right? Luminous Bardo of Dharmata. This Bardo is also sometimes called the Bardo of ultimate reality. So we will describe this Bardo in three sections. The first, the definition. Second, the experience. And third, how to deal with the experience. So describing the liminal Bardo of Dharmata is a little bit complicated because in this Bardo that we talk a lot about tantric and sort of Dzogchen ideas. Chunyit Bardo in Tibet. Chu means actually all phenomena. Nyit means the nature of all phenomena. In Sanskrit we call it Dharmadartha, Chunyit. Bardo is same, right? Chunyit Bardo, or you say Bardo of Dharmata, luminous Bardo of Dharmata. So when we say the luminosity of Dharmata, we're talking about our true nature. This luminosity of our true nature means that it is both empty and fully aware. First, I would like to say a few things about Bardo of Dain and the Bardo of Dharmata, the ultimate reality, together. Remember, after the five elements separate and dissolve in the Bardo of Dain, the consciousness dissolve into space. It is like pure space. If we have no experience of meditation, we will not recognize this luminosity, and therefore it will not stay for long. This ground or the fundamental luminosity is empty, but in nature it is also luminous. So these two qualities, emptiness and awareness, are inseparable, So there are two things will happen if we have received the pointing out instructions and have recognized the luminosity of the path. We will immediately recognize the ground luminosity and attain liberation. This is our first experience of genuine luminosity of mind after Bardo of Dain, and its full state of wisdom, and it's called the meeting of mother and child luminosity. In Tibet, Ma Pang Wenjuk. The meaning of mother and child clear light is that the Buddha nature or the transcendent wisdom that innately to ourselves, the base clear light is like a mother. And when the teacher introduced us the Buddha nature, which is the nature of the nature part of this life, right? We receive the pointing instructions from our teacher. and we meditate on it now, this Bardo, that is the path, clear light, like a child. So again, the mother luminosity is the Buddha nature, and the childlike luminosity is our individual experience of the nature. And our master has sort of point out this nature to us, the state of Rigpa, the nature mind that we recognize. So when we say the mother and child luminous, they're not actually different things, And in reality, these two are not separate. They are separated only by our, perception of being apart. So when the mother and child luminosities meet, it is not like a meeting of two separate things, and unrelated people, It is like, it is like a river meeting the ocean, There is a powerful connection. When a child meets its mother, it knows, right? It knows, oh, this is my mom. It knows. The child doesn't have to think about and ask who you are, When mother and child luminosity come together, ground and path become one. So it is beautiful and blissful experience. Longchen said at this time, this is after, right now we're talking about after the painful Bardo of dying, right? So now we're talking about Bardo of nature Bardo, Dharmata. So at this time, even if someone is an ordinary being, from this point of view of all their conceptual thoughts, gross and subtle, having ceased, and dualistic obscuration being absent, they are not different from Buddhas. Do you remember that Longchen says that? Buddhas, however, through the force of having completed training in the path, right, have forever abandoned dualistic thoughts completely, such that it will not arise again, because completely diminished. But for ordinary sentient beings, even though clear light so momentarily appears for just a moment, since they have not trained in the path, so dualistic thoughts can arise again. And clear light cannot remain to them for a long time, not more than like several moments. And then all the sort of concepts will arise. And it's difficult to recognize it. If we recognize it and rest in that experience, then liberation is certain. So at this time, we have a perfect opportunity to achieve enlightenment. If you recognize this Bardo, when appear, recognize. That's all. So therefore, there are many reasons why it is helpful for us to practice right now. But one reason is that it will help us attain liberation during the meeting of mother and child luminosity. If you're familiar and practice right now, and then at this time, you will recognize it. When this kind of experience appears, you recognize immediately, then you get liberated there. It's like child meet the mother. Recognize immediately, this is my mother, that's all, right? So there is a connection there, powerful connection. That's the same thing. If you recognize now the ground luminosity and instructions from your teacher pointing out the nature mind and practice it again, and then when Dharmadat Bardo appears, this experience appears, automatically appears, and then you recognize immediately. Then there is liberation. So when we talk about this Bardo, the luminous Bardo of Dharmata, is in Tibet Chunyit, right? Chunyit Bardo, which is the essence of things as they are. Chunyit. They're talking about ultimate level, not relative, right? Chunyit. Chu means the things. Nyit means the essence of their nature. So Dharmata is nature of reality or the nature of phenomena existence. What we are discussing here is something that is important to the whole understanding of the nature of mind. The Bardo of Dharmata has two stages, and each one is an important and opportunity for liberation. If the opportunity is not taken, then the next stage will appear. So the first is called luminosity. In the Bardo of Dharmata, we take on a body of light. If we have practiced Togar, which means direct crossing. Togar is another part of Dzogchen ideas in practice. So Todgar means in English direct crossing. The Dzogchen has two main sections, right? One is the Tekchut, which is cutting through our dualistic thoughts. And the other one is Togar, the direct crossing. So this practice is the cause of rainbow body, Togar, Dzogchen practice, not Tekchut. If you practice Togar, it causes, create, the rainbow body. To recognize this view through the oral instructions of our teacher, pure lineage, pure samaya, and at that time of death, a practitioner who diminished all grasping and fixation through the Dzogchen practice of Togar. The result of Togar practice, the five gross elements, which form the physical body, dissolve back into their essence and will attain the body of rainbow light. That happened many times in Tibet. Recently, one happened that, one teacher, but you have to practice a lot. So I think 15 years ago, there is another Togar, the Togar practitioner, 30 years retreat, practice Togar, got rainbow body. I think 10 years ago. It's very real, not not many happens, but that's the result of practice Togar. So if we can rest in the nature, our mind during the Bardo experience, then we can get liberation at this point, the first stage. If not, then the second stages appear. The second is union with the deities, or the luminosity dissolving into union. We will experience this stage if we have not been able to recognize the Takchut or Togar in the first stage, the Dzogchen. At this point, the rays and colors of light appears. There are different colors, different shape, and then sometimes they are changed into sphere of light of the different size, called tigli, right? Sphere of light. Inside of this light is where the deities appear. It is not just in this Bardo that we can experience these deities, but if we practice Togar now, then we will see the spheres of light, and eventually the deities appear. It's amazing. We have this Buddha nature, right? That's why we have these seeds of the deities in the liberation, Buddha nature. So after we have experienced, seen these deities, then we will eventually have an experience where they dissolve back into us. When you practice this kind of Togar, first you have to practice instructions with your eyes and lights. And then you can see the tiglis, the sphere of light with lots of colors and different shapes, sometimes, circles, sometimes, not. So you will see that. And then you practice more and more, they will slowly change into deities, these tiglis. And then first time, then you can see the face or head or arms or tools. And then you practice more and more, and they will appear whole bodies and everything, ornaments and tools and their everything. The deities will appear. And then you practice more and more, and eventually they're getting bigger, 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 bigger like that. And then eventually they dissolve back into your. That means you are completely established in the Togar practice. And then, what about if people who have never seen any sort of pictures of deities and who have never practiced them? What happened in this Bardo? What that kind of happens? People who are not Buddhist, I don't know other the religions, they talk about these kind of things or not, I'm not sure. But in Buddhism, especially Nyingma tradition, we have this technique, this method we call the Togar practice. But people who have no idea the deities and all this, we don't really know what one practitioner will experience at this point, but they certainly experience this Bardo because everyone has this seeds, tigli, which is essence and the cause, So in Tibetan Buddhism, the practitioners have a deity practice that they do sort of on a regular basis, which is very important. You can see exactly sometimes we see this book, they have the 100 deities, peaceful, wrathful deity, exactly that will appear if you practice Togar.
So the wrathful deities come too?
Yes,
Any of them?
last, yeah. First, the peaceful deities appear. And then slowly wrathfuls will come. That's why people are scared when you have no idea these deities. When you die, when the Dharmata, this Bardo, they will appear. And you have no idea, and you're scared. Then there is no liberation. You don't recognize them. The deities is a Buddha, right? Buddhas. We have that, that's why we have this cause. That's why we call it Buddha nature. We have seed of seeing these things. So right now, if you see the pictures of deities, it's very important. Even though you don't like them, you have to take a look. Just take a look and familiar with their face and body, and it helps also when you have this the Bardo of Dharmata appears. It will help, Oh, looks like familiar. Even though you don't know exactly them, but you see that it's like just like a person, I never, usually I don't have relation, but once I saw somewhere, and then after it saw, oh, looks, your face is familiar. There is a little bit connection, right? So that's same thing. If you practice, of course, very helpful. But if you don't practice, and some people don't like practice for these deities, but just look at pictures and just to see how they look like, then it will little bit help. So when you appear this part of Dharmata, oh, looks familiar. Are you Samandabhara? You can ask. I think you are Samandabhara. I need company. I need help right now. It's, here, nobody's around me. I'm alone here in this Bardo. We are really alone, right? Lonely, alone in this Bardo. Nobody there. If you have practice in Dharma, that's our best company. But if don't have practice, then no, nothing. Just the kind of light body, light consciousness in this Bardo. We are alone. We need help.
Khenpo, do the Dharma protectors ever show up, or are they not part of our Buddha nature?
No, they're part of Buddha nature.
So the Dharma protectors could also appear.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the 100, it's not just the Shitro, it's not just the 100 pieces.
Limitless.
Okay.
The Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, it's just limitless. And they're the same if you recognize their essence of the same. So we practice deities, right? I practice deities. You can do that. You choose the deity based on having a sort of strong karmic connection, if you like this and that. The practitioners recognize the deity as the Atlantean mind, and they view all appearance with this understanding, So if we recognize the union with the deities or recognize the luminosity dissolving into union, then we can get liberation at this point. A practitioner who have received and practiced the pointing out instruction during this lifetime will be able to recognize the nature of their mind and be liberated. The moment we abandon our ego cleaning, then our innate wisdom will clearly appear. So usually when we talk about things like luminosity or clarity, we are wondering, what luminosity really means. But it is just what we experience our Buddha nature. as we prepare for our experience of this Bardo, few methods are taught. This include practice for realizing both the fundamental, the ground luminosity of the first stage and the nature of mind and visualize the deities. The main method is practicing looking at the nature of mind. This is taught as the best method for recognizing the ground luminosity of the first stage. Karma Langba's root teaching of this Bardo, he said, at this time when the Bardo of Dharmata appears to you, abandon all shocks and fear, because you will see this deity's face. You shocked, if you have no idea, panic, You have to abandon that and enter into the recognition that whatever arises is pure awareness. Recognize all appearance of the Bardo in this manner. All of the most profound teaching tell us that we will find the nature of our mind only by looking directly at what is right in front of us. That is our enlightenment. And that is our pure sort of land, pure room. A pure room is not necessarily an actual world or a, planet, It is a state of mind where we can achieve enlightenment. That's what we call the Buddha field, right? We have a Buddha nature, we recognize that, and we get that. Then we are there. It can be on this earth or it in different universe, So it doesn't matter. So we wish for that, and that is always the best things for us. And it is also best things for other sentient beings. Another thing I would like to explain you about Rigpa, because we use it a lot when we're talking about this Bardo. When we say the Rigpa in Tibet, right? Maybe you don't know. So it means there are two states of mind, right? In Tibet, these are called Sim and Rigpa. Sim refers to our conceptual thinking involving fixation on something. And it is an incorrect way to perceiving because it's based on ignorance, attachment, anger. And Rigpa means free from fixation. It means a state of nature awareness that is without dualistic thinking. So it is extremely important to know the difference between this Sem and Rigpa state of mind. And their also object point of view, there are two things. The relative, right? Relative and ultimate. How things appear and how things truly are. So whatever is experienced in the state of same, or in English, conceptual mind, is always just the superficial or relative truth, or things as they appear. But whatever is experienced in that state of Rigpa, the nature mind, non-conceptual, is always the genuine things as they truly are. So, Bardo of Dharmata is we're talking about Rigpa, non-conceptual. When we depart from the Bardo of Dharmata, which means that we don't recognize all of those experiences that appear in this Bardo of Dharmata, then for our next experience or the stage of Bardo of becoming, which means we will return to being obscured by ignorance, and the effects of our karma will drive us towards a new rebirth. We perceive so many different appearances. Our conceptual mind arise, and our habitual patterns return again like that. So if we don't recognize the Bardo of Dharmata, and we miss the opportunity, this liberation, then next Bardo appears, which means Bardo of becoming. That's tomorrow. Any questions, Bardo of Dharmata?
Can you explain a little more again the mother and child, what the mother is?
Mother is the Buddha nature, the ground, the fundamental, the true nature. Child, luminosity is the individual experience, recognized their nature, individual, the nature of their mind. That's what we call child. So they are meeting, which means appears this experience, you recognize it, right? That doesn't mean they're child and mother, two separate things, but that doesn't mean in here, the mother, child, luminous, not different two things. But child, when see the mother, immediately recognize it, right? This is my mother. That's why I give you the example. So when you, appear this ground luminosity experience, then you will recognize it, the nature. So if you miss that opportunity, then the next Bardo will appear, which is the fourth, right? Fourth Bardo, which is the karmic Bardo of becoming. Then we follow our karma, come back in samsara, whatever we did, the result, right? And then we're coming back.
When you talk about jumping through and cutting through, they seem very similar. What is the real difference?
No, it's different, very different.
Very different.
The essence is the same, right? Trying to working on Buddha nature, right? But the methods are different. The Togger practice, you use your eye with the light first, otherwise this spear of light doesn't appear. Then first you do this, and then you practice more and more and more, and then you eventually you don't really need any light. Even though in the dark or nighttime you can practice and appears the deities in spirit of light and the colors and shapes and so it's another method. The instructions are different.
So then, cutting through is experiencing Rigpa or Dharmakaya, and then using just that as your focus and nothing else.
That's it.
Cut through just to that.
Yep.
And the other one has a light visualization.
Other one is a little bit danger than this, because if you see this appear, the deities and all this, and sometimes you sort of get pride and a little bit attached to them, and I want to see them appear again like that. It's a little bit, if you can let go that experience, there is a little dangerous, right? So that's why when the teachers give you first the cartoon through, that's instruction, and then when you really good about that, then the next you have to practice toga. Yeah.
If all these great bodhisattvas get in these realms, of course, they could be liberated. They keep coming back as normal people who I assume make all kinds of problems at some point, just like the rest of us do. How does that work?
That works for us. It works for us. They just, because of easy to communicate with all living beings, just ordinary people. If they are coming back very special, we have no connection, right? We can't connect because they are special, and then there is no connect. Then how they can help? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Bodhisattvas and Buddhas, they coming back in this world, samsara, through their capacity, not karmic, not coming back without knowing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Bodhisattvas and Buddhas knows that which area, what beings, if they come back, what is the benefit? They know exactly that. Because that's their intention, to help others, right? If you get liberated and not coming back, not much benefit, right? So bodhisattvas, even though they recognize all dharmata and they, abandon all this negative karma, still they're coming back because for us. No bodhisattvas, no Buddhas, then how we get enlightenment? How there is no way to enter into the correct path. They show us these instructions, right? If we follow them. So they said, thief and bodhisattvas, we never know where they are. Because bodhisattvas never say, I am better than you. I am a special. I am a bodhisattva. They never say that. They appear exactly us, just ordinary person. Because easily to help, right? Bapta Rinpoche was amazing teacher, famous teacher. All of the Tibet knows his name. People know him. But they don't know his face. They don't recognize him because he never tell them, I am Bapta Rinpoche, even though he never said. People met him and who you are, he said something else, different name he gave them because he doesn't want to, people know him.
Did he dress very?
He dressed just like, he never dressed monk's robe like this. Dressed just ordinary people, they don't know. And then looks, he's very pure, dressed very, the clothes very, inexpensive clothes, and that. I want to hear a story, he's a person who, Bapta Rinpoche, wander all over, right, in Tibet. He's not looking for a group people like this, He just help individually. So one time he met a person, and this person don't know Patrul Rinpoche, but he knows what are my perfect teacher, and he heard the Patrul Rinpoche's name, amazing. And then he told Patrul Rinpoche, actually it's Patrul Rinpoche, but he doesn't know, right? He didn't know this is Patrul Rinpoche. Oh, you look a really nice person and kind of poor. You should read this book. And he gave showed what are my perfect teacher, right? Showed, and I give you written transmission, and you should practice this. And then Papa, nice, thank you very much, yes. And then he sit, and then he let him, teach, And then like that, and Papa Rinpoche never tell him, So bodhisattvas never say, I am different than you. I am a kind of special. They're very humble, So thief and bodhisattva, we don't know where they are. Okay, now practice. Thief never say, I'm thief. You have to be careful. Your property, right? You never know. That kind of thing's amazing pattern which he has. Oh my goodness, he's an amazing teacher.
How long is the Dharmata? How long time-wise?
This Bardo? Well, generally very short. It depends. If you practice right now the Buddha nature, then this Bardo appears long. Because you recognize the familiar, like exactly same right now. When we practice and recognize nature mind, we focus on that. If you practice a lot, then you can stay longer, right? Very, your mind is stable and you recognize it. Your thoughts not there. You can stay there as much as you want, as long as you want. But if you don't recognize, and if you recognize but you don't practice again, then it's just 1 second and go away and no thoughts come, right? Same thing in this Bardo. That's why right now it's very important, we say, right? Practice this nature part of this life. Practice very important because right now we have chance, and if we miss the nature mind, then do again, right? So we have nothing appears that, And this part once appeared and you don't recognize, then that's it. You have no opportunity.
Do we carry over any of the things that we've learned from this life into the next life if we miss the opportunity?
Yes, but we don't remember. I will teach you this in next time, next part. Three o'clock. All right. Thief.
He might be both a bodhisattva and a thief.
When I meditate, it bothers me.
I'm sure.
Better take off,
Do you think it's possible to design some mechanical thing that would transmit we could hook up to you and experience the true nature of mind?
Well, that is your faith, and devotion is mechanic thing.
Ah,
Then there is a connection,
yeah,
right? If you have faith and devotion, then remember the story. The mother asked son. You remember that story?
Dog tooth, yeah.
The Buddha's teeth. He gave her his mother dog's tooth, and the mother, when she dies, got rainbow body. Remember? What my perfect teacher, Dr. Much said that, right? So that's actually, if you have the faith and devotion, then there is a connection, you know. If you don't have faith and devotion, then even though Buddha appears here, there's no connection. So that's why Buddha always say, it depends you. I show you the method, but the liberation depends on you. All right. Forgot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hundreds of thousands times I told already this story. It's okay. You ready? Look at you. You look tired. Are you?